Cold blood. After him!
It's the Solar One Sci-Fi podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 141 of the Solar One Sci-Fi podcast. I'm Michael Ball. I am joined once again by my colleague, the demigod of sci-fi knowledge and trivia, who says that this week apparently I look like a commentator from, I think you said Home in the Country, one of these god-awful BBC Sunday morning programs.
You look like a presenter. It looks like on what Homes in the Country.
Oh, well, thank you. I don't want to be a presenter on Homes in the Country.
Don't live on that balcony anyway. I'm fascinated by that balcony. Is that the balcony at the back here, the side? There's a balcony.
Oh, there's out there. Hang on.
No, well, it must be different on Canada.
Oh, there's another balcony.
Is that yours then?
No, it's next door, yeah.
Oh, is that next door?
Well, yeah, because mine's there, and then you've got a bush, and it's next door. So
right, okay. So do they? Who lives there then?
Well, neighbours.
All right then. I don't just. And do they own the top bit as well then? Is that their bit at the top?
Yeah.
Or is that another one?
No, it's I can see because I'm dazzled. I can't see what you're seeing. Oh, you're seeing that one. No, that's further down. That's further
top
down.
of the balcony.
That's further
I'm
down.
curious.
No, this is it.
I'm looking like it's like Homes in the Country.
This is welcome to the world of Michael Ball. Here we go. At least I'm out here in the sunshine now. At least it's
on this week's episode in Homes in the Country.
Do you remember that awful Lloyd Grossman where he used to be on that thing?
God, yeah.
This house is really what I thought. And oh God, he's such a pretentious twat.
I know. And through the keyhole.
I used to call it through. I used to call it through the arsehole when it was.
God, he was. But he really. I mean, that voice.
Oh no, he just needed a good kicking, didn't he? He was awful.
He got into cooking, didn't he? Later on.
Did he? Oh, I don't know.
I think so. Yeah.
Because I like David Frost, but I couldn't stand that pretentious guy who's going around his house. Oh God, daytime TV and live TV is awful, isn't it? I'm not surprised it's dying and everything. Apparently, there's all these writers' strikes going on now, and they say
I know.
They say it's going to actually affect mostly daytime TV, because obviously things like streaming things, it takes weeks to build up stuff. So a lot of the stuff that's still in production, like the new Star Wars stuff, it should at least in the immediate, it shouldn't affect everything because it's already been written, and they just got to physically film it.
That's why we have a plan. We have a plan, my brother. We have a plan.
Do you want to elaborate
when
what that plan is?
When the bombs drop, where the hard drive will be going in the bunker.
It's going to be, unless you get
everything else, get the bloody hard drive.
Unless you get a EMP, and then of course it'll wipe your hard drive, wouldn't it? Because an electromagnetic pulse will actually wipe it. So if Ukraine and Russia gets a bit peed off with us because we keep giving stuff to Ukraine and stuff, and we suddenly get an EMP bomb that goes off, and everyone will be fine. But
I'd
have lost my telly.
You're going to be all right there, aren't you? From Homes in the Country.
Oh, what you mean? I've got a sort of like barrier, so I'll be like a shield or something. Oh dear. Right. So what's happening in the world of science fiction this week? Anything? I've not got much of my end.
No, there hasn't been much. Nothing much now. I think we've had our dosage now till 15th of June.
15th of June, I know, exactly. Which is about 5-6 weeks away. It's already in May now. And obviously I'm looking forward to Strange New World Season 2. Interesting, they just released all the episode names and titles for Season 2. That was only released the other day. I can't remember what, actually. One of them is tomorrow and tomorrow or something. There's some weird names. But there's going to be the crossover with Lower Decks. There's going to be a Gorn episode. There's going to be the one where number one is on trial because there's going to be time travel with Captain Kirk, apparently, which seems a bit odd. And everyone says that they really don't like the new actor that plays Kirk in Strange New Worlds, who's been miscast. And I'm going to give him a chance, but he doesn't seem to have any Kirkisms at all. You know, I mean, even the guy from the Kelvin universe, I can't think of his name, Chris Pine.
I thought he nailed it.
I think he was really good, apart from he had the wrong colour eyes, because Captain Kirk's eyes are green. But
it does say massive. You know, honestly.
No, but it's supposed to be an alternate timeline, so he should have had the same colour eyes.
Well, there might not. There could have been a slight deviant variation in the space-time continuum. You know,
No,
DNA
because
could have been out of whack.
because they were born at the same time, but one was on the Kelvin ship and the other one. Who cares?
Well, maybe in the Kelvin unit. Well, it was the Mighty Four who were his
It was
dad,
an alternate.
wasn't
It was an alternate timeline. It wasn't an alternate universe. It wasn't
No.
a parallel universe. So he should have had green eyes. It's bad. I was upset about that. Blue eyes. It's terrible. I think the new one's got brown eyes, so it's even more. Right. I digress. What have I heard this week? Yeah, nothing major. I mean, we're going to talk about The Mandalorian, which has had quite a mixed review from a lot of reviewers for season 3, which we'll focus on in a minute. I'm trying to think what else I've heard about this week. I've actually not heard anything much at all.
Well, look, do you want to pack this in and go home and do it next week? We've got something to talk about.
No, we can just go into
Can we
the
talk
focus of
about
the
that
week.
balcony over there? I'm fascinated by that balcony.
What can you see from it?
I can see a balcony.
There you
Oh, he's moved it now. He's moved away from the balcony.
Does that solve the problem? There we
Well,
go.
all right, all
There
right.
we are. There we go.
I'm just curious, that's all. You're outside.
No, it's good. I like it.
Because I'm going to pick up on
It's quite
it.
fun doing this. It's
okay.
the first time I've actually been outside ever
Are you
doing this
getting a
podcast
bloody...
with a t-shirt on.
Yeah, all right then.
Love it.
Right, well, you're getting a good connection.
Yeah, I know. Because last
this time.
I know. I mean, the first time we tried this didn't work. There's a very noisy sparrow above me. I don't know if you can hear him, but he's driving me nuts. He's up there. He's really noisy. He's chirping away. And I need to get a stick and throw something at him. Right, shall we go to our focus?
I'd just like to say on the Solo One podcast, we do not condone cruelty to sparrows. And you know, we do not.
Actually, I have got one bit of lack of news, and that is that it's starting to look a bit. People are starting to say about the Orville that it's looking less and less likely that it's actually going to be renewed. And what did you think about that? Because I'm starting to think it's not going to happen.
Not happy
now.
about it.
Yeah.
I can't, from a business point of view, I can't understand why they do this. I really don't, from a business point. If you got something that could become one of the biggest franchises out there with numerous spin-offs, why would you just stop? You know,
I don't. Well, maybe it's because it was young enough that it wasn't as well established as, say, Stargate or the Star Treks or something.
yeah, but
I mean,
Stargate
Orville
had a bit of a dodgy start, didn't it? Really, I mean, it got moved around networks like there were no tomorrow.
I know it nearly got cancelled after season 5,
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
and but they managed to get it. I think it went to Sci-Fi Channel after that, and then it got another five seasons, didn't it? And then of course they had the spin-offs and everything, which kept it. The Orville's really good though. You know, I really would be, because I watched Domino last night just by chance. It was the penultimate episode of season 3, which was really pretty epic. There's a lot of space battles, all sorts of things going on. It's almost like a feature film, and I thought there's a lot of love and a lot of effort has gone in to make this series something special. So I'd be very, very disappointed if it doesn't get a fourth season rather. I don't know. It's and they're also saying that Strange New Worlds, that might, I think we might have said this before, that might only go 3 seasons as well, because apparently a lot of people are saying it's going to be interfering with the original series or something. It's getting too close. So
well, Discovery will before all that.
Discovery.
We got the entire original series before it even started. You know, mirror universes and rest of
Does
it.
that have to come back for
mushroom drives?
Is that actually going to come back for a 5th season? I mean, why bother?
I mean, next year. They're
know,
not
but-
releasing it till next year.
So next year we've got Discovery and Andor season 2. It's gonna be a good year, isn't it?
I'm not going to be watching that. I am not going to be. Honestly, it's.
I watched Rogue One again. Rogue One was so good. It was really, really good, the movie. Are you not going to try season 2 of Andor?
I will do if you do, yeah.
I'll have to.
Well, we've got what happens to Cyril. Does he finally move out of his mother's
Well, he's
house?
going to finally go out and get his own pad or something.
Get
like
his
that.
own pad light and meet a
Yeah,
lady.
maybe. I was going to say he might even get a girlfriend. You know, he might.
Well, he did. He's a bit obsessed with her, isn't he?
Oh no, he's definitely got. He's definitely, yeah. You know, he wants a bit of imperial in his life, doesn't he? You know what I mean? Yeah, he's definitely.
It's a bit of the old force there.
Yeah, bit of uniform. Yeah, I think that's
Get
definitely.
the old lightsaber out.
Although she's got a wart on her temple or something, which always puts me off.
That's she.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw her. I saw a picture of her. Watch out, she's really attractive.
She doesn't look so good in it because her hair's really tied back and she's got the
because
the
she's
cap on.
official, isn't she? She's at work. And
Yeah,
she's
I know.
She's into career and
Can't we see her at sort of at home, like, relaxing with a nice.
with him?
Well, I don't know. I don't think
And
she'd
his
go for
mother.
it. Well, yeah. Is the mother going to watch or something? I know.
Well, okay, let's not go. What on the 4-inch television? They both sit round. It's on the wall. Do you know? I look at Star Wars technology out there, and you like think, well, where's all the fucking advancements?
I know. It's interesting. I mean, one thing I was thinking about today is that they're going on again about how AI is going to be becoming more intelligent than us very, very soon. We're getting to that point now. And you've said ever since we've been doing this, you've been talking about AI. And I always wonder, well, where's AI in Star Wars? I mean, you get droids who can interact.
Well, the
wonder about that.
Independent, though. They seem to have feelings, don't they?
That's what I could see in reality eventually we could have robots of some sort which would be intelligent enough.
Well, I mean, they build these things like Death Stars and they've got light speed and android robots running about. But yet, when you go in a house, it's like, would you want to live in one of them houses?
Oh, you mean Tatooine, not those hut things?
Yeah, even where Cyril lived with his mother, they had a 5-inch telly. What they both watched.
Was it black and white as well? Wasn't it?
It could have walked with line going on the bench.
I don't know.
Coat aerial. You mean stick a coat hanger in back at telly?
Yeah, to make it a good picture. Yeah, no. I'm still really disappointed by that series. I mean, I've got a feeling that season 2 is going to be better because it's getting closer to the time that we really like with the rebellion and everything like that. I think it will be better. I will watch it. It can't be any worse than season 1. It can't be, surely.
Okay.
Right. On that note, I think let's go into this focus of the week, which is also Star Wars based related. So here we go.
It's the
Solar Sci-Fi
focus of the week.
All right, so this week we are talking about a rather disappointing season of Star Wars called The Mandalorian. Obviously, we know The Mandalorian. I've heard a lot of negatives from people about it because I was thinking there's going to be some big arcs, a big sort of story thing, going to bigger places and all sorts of things like the Empire coming back and all sorts of things, and of course it was on at the same time as Picard, so it did dilute things a bit. So, but let's ask you. I mean, we have talked about it before, but this is a roundup. Season 3 of Mandalorian, yay or nay?
This was not the way.
No, it wasn't, was it? So what went wrong? What is it that it lost in this season from your perspective?
It just wasn't there, was it?
Yeah,
It just him and his relationship with the Grogu. It just that was the founding factor of him and his relationship with Grogu.
Yeah.
And his world he lives in, which is quite fascinating, and where he goes. This has been, to me, has been the Bo-Katan show.
I like Bo-Katan though.
Yeah, I do. I've watched a couple of certain reviewers. I'm not going to say. They have a certain.
You can if you want.
That basically it's that she was the star of this series, and I have to say she carried this entire series for me.
Well, Pedro Pascal, of course, was away filming The Last of Us, so all he did was literally phone in his
voiceovers.
So I think that might have been a factor, because in the other 2 seasons we did actually see him physically more than once. We saw his face twice in season 2 and once in season 1, and you want to see that to a degree because we know what he looks like. And
I think to be honest, I think they might have fucked themselves.
Do you?
I'm sorry for Milan, but I think they might have shot themselves in foot, because when we watched season 2, that were a mind blower. Where that were all building was incredible, and then we got the Luke Skywalker thing, and everybody was screaming. Because I watched the reactions of people watching that bit on YouTube, and people were screaming their heads off.
It was huge. That was huge.
I was expecting them to top that this season with something.
Yeah. Well, I think,
and they totally failed. And I think what we saw last season probably should have been this season.
And also, Grogu.
Do you know what I mean? And I found there was a lot of the long-term story had just been cut short.
Well,
there was something building, then they cut it when they killed Gideon off.
Yeah, but I think that was a clone of Gideon. I think Gideon's going to still be around. I don't think that's
but it's such an easy get out clause, that.
Yeah, but they do that. I mean, I reckon they're going to do something like that.
Yeah, true, but it just wasn't there this season. I remember we watched it. We saw the first episode, and we spoke on one of the podcasts. I think it was after the first week, and we both weren't impressed by the first episode. There was one or two episodes where it did sort of pick up when they went to Mandalore.
What did you think of the episode with Dr. Pershing when he was actually on is it Coruscant, and he was the one that eventually gets his mind wiped at the end?
Well, I just found all that pointless now. I found there were no.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a big, because it seems like he was going to be doing the cloning of the Moff Gideon thing. That's all he was there for. To give.
I mean,
the whole point was to give high metachlorians, wasn't it, for Gideon? That's what he wanted. That was the whole purpose of it.
But I found that scientist guy. I found this whole story out totally pointless now, because she would obviously she killed him because she were under instruction, because he knows about his cloning operation.
But he got
there was a threat to him, but there were no need to show his entire life. I don't think there were.
Well, did you feel?
5 minutes.
I think the problem is a lot of people thought there'd be a much bigger payoff at the end of the season.
I would expect.
I thought we were going to get a full. I thought we were going to get a full kind of like the Empire is back, or Thrawn's going to be showing up, and it was like a massive. This is it now. The new rebellion, and now this is it. They really come back now. This is it, and it didn't happen.
And that's what I can't understand. I mean, we got the meeting, we got the Shadow Council.
That was interesting. That was an interesting.
There were moments in this where things were interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not. Look, the series wasn't bad. I'm not going to sit there and be hate on it.
No, I did enjoy it. I did
enjoy it. Yeah. But I also think, you see, my problem when I first started separating them. First 4 episodes, I was watching it with Picard.
Yeah, well, I've said this to you before.
And I think that might have had a massive effect on it, because I'm going to say this: Picard shit all over the Mandalorian. It blew it out of the water, totally. So I just don't know. But when I noticed when I watched the last 3 episodes at Mando the next day, instead of watching both together, I did react differently. I did. I've enjoyed this series, but I think this series should have been season 2.
Yeah, it's strange. I also think that some of the story arcs which went into Boba Fett, which I think was a bad idea, because it was shoehorned into a different series.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been. It should have been separate, and it was literally, and we said this at the time, it was like suddenly we were watching a different series. And like Boba Fett, even in one episode, he didn't say a word. This is his series. This is his story.
That's what I mean.
They've got some. I mean, I thought that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau that really knew what they were doing, but I'm starting to question whether maybe they're not quite as good in their capacity of what they're doing. And I think a lot of people are starting to say, well, look, we were singing their praises, but now people are starting to think, well, hang on a minute, this is not the best writing.
I mean, look, if you'd have gone by the Boba Fett book, right, how we know Bob, forget the series, his character, he got out of the hole in the ground eaty thing, or whatever it was called. He got out of there, we saw that. But really, he was a bounty hunter, not a crime lord. And he's a bounty hunter. So basically, you instead of having the Mandalorian, the Boba Fett series would have been very similar to the Mando series. It's just that the Mando took Boba Fett's title.
I mean,
if you had a Boba Fett series, forget all that last series. If Boba Fett had come out a few years ago, it'd have been him moving across the galaxy.
It could have been him. He could have been actually. It could not be the Mandalorian. It could be just Boba Fett. It could have been his series.
That's what I mean.
And then they did. And then Boba Fett was such a weakened character when we saw him compared to how he was in the movies. I think
but that's what I mean, because you when he were in movies, he didn't do much, did he? Really? I mean, it were all repetition.
No, but he had this something
mistake
about
him.
But he was also really hard. He was really action. He wasn't the person who wants a diplomat. He became more of a diplomat in season.
He was old, but he did say he was getting older.
Yeah, I know, but it's not what I expected. It didn't strike me. And
but the Mandalorian took the Boba Fett's job because they were a bounty hunter. You know, he basically. I mean, why would you bring out such an established character as Boba Fett and then drop him for 2 episodes in his own series? Why would you do that?
So are you? I mean, let me ask you: are you a bit now sort of more cautious about new Star Wars?
I'm not gonna walk away from it.
No, I'm not either. I mean, but I wonder whether because they're doing the Ahsoka series that maybe they split themselves up so that they were focusing. They didn't have enough time. So maybe they're focusing more on the Ahsoka series, which meant that Mandalorian season 3 was a bit more diluted and a bit less of a sort of like very strong storyline. Also, some people were saying like the episode with Christopher Lloyd, where he had this scene where he gets caught out and he goes, and they were saying it was like a Scooby-Doo episode where he said, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for that damn Mandalorian. And it was. It
was terrible. It was awful. I mean, I didn't
mind the episode. But I thought there'd be a bigger arc. I thought there'd be a bigger. I don't know. I don't know what it was.
It was the villain. It was the separatist supporter from 40 years ago.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And it was like, is that it? I mean, I'm not bothered about Jack Black and the rap.
I don't know who that woman was. I didn't know her.
She's a rapper, apparently.
Yeah, well, that's why I hate rap. Rap should be spelled with a silent C. I can't stand rap.
I don't know, but I thought they were funny.
Yeah, but again, it wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary, though.
That reminded me of the Boba Fett episode with the space mods with them too. You remember when we first saw them, and everybody thought, "What the hell's it? Bloody space mods!" When we met them,
they went down like a lead balloon, didn't they?
That's what them two did. I mean,
yeah.
She went there to go find her army. You're not going to ask around with them two.
Well, look at season 2. We had that Bill Burr in that episode where he goes out and he meets his commander and he shoots him and everything else. And he was the one who said about the episode where they have to attack these big vehicles and there's these terrorists behind them and they're trying to explode there. And I think the actor's called Bill Burr, isn't he? He's a comedian. And I just thought he was not there as a gimmick just to be there just to say a few funny one-liners. They wrote that actor and that character so well in that episode that to me that was one of the best episodes of season 2. No episode of season 3 came anywhere near those heights of those episodes of season 2.
There's nothing memorable about season
2. Not really.
Well, even now we're going on about season 2.
Yeah.
And I mean, all right. The one was that. I mean, I got fed up of the Mythosaurus crap.
That was boring.
Yeah, that was just getting on my nerves, but I've got to admit, Katie Sackhoff, she was the star of every time she had a lot of gravitas.
That's because she was actually there. She was actually there filming the scenes and that's Pedro Pascal. They might just kill him off if he's just not going to be actually there, just voicing him. It's like an animated show. It's not even really there. It's just stunt doubles. And so. What do you think? How do you think the series is going to proceed? I mean, they have written season 4 already. Do you think that they will sort of evaluate people's criticisms of season 3?
Well, I'm hoping that they plan this season to be like this, and then we get the payoff in season 4. Yeah, but I did find out they got rid of Gideon, the whole Moff Gideon thing. I love the Piz Vesla fight when they brought in the Praetorian Guard.
I like them. They were good.
They were fantastic. I
mean,
there were moments like that I really
Did you like the new stormtroopers that looked like they were slightly sort of like becoming more of the First Order stormtroopers? I think they were.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. I like that link. I think that's one of the best things I liked about it because they thought, well, look, it's getting further into the future now, and they are slowly getting towards a sequel era, which I don't mind. I think that's quite interesting. So yeah, I don't know, but. Like I said, it wasn't the best episode, and
I thought the Moff Gideon arc could have been expanded a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it?
You know, I hope they haven't killed him off because I did like his character. I have to
He'll
say, he did
be
look
back.
good in the armor. He did look good.
Yeah, but he only saw me the last 2 episodes. I mean,
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
See,
what it was.
when he walked into that chamber with the Shadow Council, I became really interested in all that. That's when it watching it's like barometer, like it was like going up a bit and then it were down all the time. Then you get a spike every now and again. With it, there were interesting concepts in this. There were things, but Katie Sackhoff carried this series for me. Pedro Pascal might as well just not been bothered in it, really.
No, because he wasn't really there.
I could handle a Bo-Katan series, Bo-Katan and the Mandos or something, you know. Because I thought she's
I thought they were going to actually have some sort of romantic thing. I thought they were
That's
actually going
what
to.
I thought.
And it never
yeah.
happened. So many things we actually talked about and it didn't happen.
That's it. I feel let
Didn't
down by
happen.
this season. I do feel let down.
It was. I don't know. It
But
didn't even.
There could be a payoff in season 4.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Well, they're going to have to do
Well, no,
something.
they've said now because they're going to be making a movie. It's going to be like the Avengers, where it's basically all
Oh,
these
yeah,
separate
that's
elements.
where all the
They're all
shit's
going to
going.
join together, which is exciting. I want to see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And also, I thought we were going to see Boba Fett anyway in the season. We didn't even see him this season either.
But they're going to need a couple of seasons of something to grow Thrawn's character. I mean, we're going to be, what, 3 years away from a movie?
Well, I think the Ahsoka series was originally supposed to be the limited series, and now it's not. So they're obviously happy with the way that season 1 has gone, and they're going to extend it. And I think that they've done that because they've decided. I think they've turned their back on Boba Fett. I don't know whether we're going to get a second season of that.
No.
Um,
No, I don't think that's going to be happening.
I think that might now be the limited series, where originally I think they were going to do season 2, and maybe it didn't sort of go down as well as people thought. And so, yeah, unfortunately, it looks like it's.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think he'll be back in some capacity. I want to see Slave One again. I love that ship, but I did like. I don't know. It's like I think long term I will like it, but I'm disappointed.
I'm hyped up for the Acolyte.
Yeah, that looks really interesting.
I like the
one-
concepts of that. It's
Yeah.
all going to be from the Sith point of view.
Yes, I love that idea.
And,
That's really
and building the
interesting.
conspiracy up to start the war.
Yeah.
And get their people into place to support.
And it's 100 years it's 100 years
Yeah,
ago. Prequels
it's-
furthest in the past.
So
That's
we're either going to see Darth Plagueis or his master or somebody before them.
And then you've got
They're
that
going.
Goonies one as well, haven't you? The Skeleton Crew. Is it
Oh yeah,
Skeleton
the
Crew?
Star Wars Voyager.
Yeah.
And they go off to out of the unknown regions.
That's all right. I'll give it a go.
I'm going to give all this stuff a go because some of it will be good and some of it's going to be.
I still like The
Terrible.
Mandalorian. It's the weakest season. It was overshadowed by Picard, but then what wasn't overshadowed by Picard? Because I've been walking around in days ever since I watched that bloody series. I've never seen. I still can't believe how good that series was. So, and if we don't get a sequel to that series, I am going to be really hacked off. Let's just put it that way, because they've got to carry on this. They will. Even Terry Matalas is that. No, Kurtzman said that we've heard you, we've heard the fans, we've heard you, and so they'll do something. I just hope
I signed petitions.
Oh yeah, I've done too. I've done it as well. And it's, the last time I checked, it's about 43,000 people have signed it now. It's quite bigger than it was for Strange New Worlds, which is really good as well. So now listen, we've got to just quickly pause for the dreaded Zoom. So we'll be back in a second, and we'll do our ratings for the actual series out.
Okay, then I'll see you in a minute.
Back in a second. All right. All right, so we're back. Let me just straighten myself. Let me make myself look nice for the podcast. There we go. We are back with the sort of summary of the Mandalorian season 3. So, I suppose really the most important question is what would you give this season out of 10?
7.
7? Okay, that's fair. I think that's
It
fair.
had its moments which sort of lifted it. I'd give it out. I was going to give it an 8 because of Katie Sackhoff, but it is meant to be about the Mando, isn't it? So
I think I'm going to give it a 7.5. I think similar to you.
Yeah.
I did like it. I just think that it had some problems.
Yeah.
And I just think I have to ask though, before this season, what would you give this series in total before this season, and what is it now?
because of last year, what we got in the final, the build-up over and into, I would have given it a 10.
But now, because of this third season, how much is it?
But it's quite a lot. It didn't build up to anywhere, did it?
So, in total, what would you give the whole series now because of the lackluster season 3? How much has it dropped from the 10 to where it is now?
Easily a 3. And I think 7's been generous. Really, it should be a 6.
So you've lost 3 points because of season 3, basically.
Yeah, because there was no build-up to anything. There was a pointless story of that scientist guy, which didn't make really. You could have done that in 2 minutes, not an entire episode. It's like this series. It's like they couldn't be bothered.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something very strange about this series. I mean, I've said this to you before. And I'm not sure exactly where it went wrong. But obviously it did go wrong to a degree.
I think the problem, because we got 2 seasons built to something, and by the time you got to the final episodes, you got the payoff.
Yeah.
That made it worth it. But there wasn't even the big payoff. I know they tried with the Mythosaurus and the destiny of the Mandos and all that, but it just didn't quite work. And it just didn't.
Even that wasn't properly explored. I mean, we saw this thing in one episode under the water, and then I don't know. I just think it had a lot of problems.
Did we say at the end or something?
Very briefly, but even that, what was that? What's the significance of that? We saw it briefly again, but that was...
apparently, Darth Saber got destroyed, didn't it, as well? So
yeah, I was thinking about that. It was a bit tacky, wasn't it? I thought
it was a bit low. I thought that was
after
like
all
the
that
point
fuss
of
with
it
this
all.
thing. Yeah, exactly. And it was just like a broken bit of plastic. It looked like it was.
It's just pointless. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I found Moff Gideon's agenda quite. I wanted Moff Gideon's agenda to be tied in with the return of Thrawn, that it were building to Thrawn. I thought with this, for me, the Thrawn thing, because I'm a big fan of Thrawn, I think he's like, if anybody's going to be a threat after the Emperor, it's him.
Yeah, but he should have appeared though.
He should have made an appearance, even at the end.
Just one scene with him, like close up, turning around. We did see
how I'd have done it when they all turned around and said, "Well, where is Admiral Thrawn? We haven't seen him." You know that.
And then he fades out, or fades up.
And then Captain Pelion fades out, and then Thrawn appears as in the hologram. Yeah. And they should have done that. Even if you just saw him for that 1 minute, I would have given this.
Or even the back of his head, even if it was a double, just to say, "Well, look, he
just
is
the
there."
Voice.
Yeah, they could have done the voice. They could have done the voice.
How I'd have done it when they had that shadow council meeting, we're all going, "Well, where is Thrawn? You know, all we get is you." You know, that's all we get. And then I got, well, he switched, he walks off the hologram, and Thrawn walks in to replace him, only for a minute, and says something, and that's it. That was all. I thought there would have been that build up to his return, because he's like the heir to the Empire, you know.
Or even like a post-credit scene or something like they did nothing. It's
I sat right till end. I was
waiting for the surprise at the end, like we got with Picard, and nothing.
You know, I thought Ahsoka Tano might have turned up in the final episode.
Oh, I think everyone was expecting something big after season 2's series finale.
And I just think they've shot themselves. I think they've wasted a lot of potential, but unless
I think it can come back. I think that season 4 they might do something really good. They'll probably listen to the criticism.
Well, they're gonna have to make season 4 pay off, or people are gonna be switching.
Well, it's gonna be more like the old-fashioned, just like a bounty hunter kind of thing. I like that idea. Standalone.
I think the other problem is as well, and you might not agree with me on this, but because it's Star Wars, the thing, like, let's get one of these characters and make a series out of it. And it's like they assume this character's gonna be a big hit. It don't work like that, you know. Oh, let's go get one of these. Let's do a Han Solo series, you know, before some kind of in between years. Yeah. And they go and do it, and then it's totally terrible and all this. People are going to be switching off, you know. I just think sometimes they can just, like the Boba Fett thing. I mean, that should have been so much better. I didn't mind Boba Fett, to be honest.
I didn't mind it. I actually
I
love
the
I
final
love the
episode.
I love the Tusken Raider scenes.
I
where
was more interested in the Tusken Raiders than
that was
the
really
rest of
good. I thought that was really solid. He learned their culture. I loved it. I thought that was really good.
And you know what happened to that family, did the child survive? There was so much that could have gone there with. It was like Obi-Wan, but then again, I'm in and out with Obi-Wan because I couldn't understand.
I like that though. I do like that.
Yeah, somebody said the other day, oh well, he were on the planet depressed and all that. But don't forget, this guy's cut off from any financial backup from an organisation.
He's lost everything. He's lost everything that he's
lost
worth.
Everything,
yeah.
And he's got to guard a child, and he's got to feed himself.
Yeah.
And you're isolated for all them years. You're going to become a bit depressed.
A bit jaded, aren't you? You're not exactly going to be like zippity doodah, right?
Because in one of Star Wars films, when he lost his ship, he sent a message and they sent him another ship straight away. He don't have that kind of support. Of course you're going to get depressed. But he did come back, and that's what I liked about it. There was a payoff with Obi-Wan. Yeah, a massive payoff. Because they could have took Vader out, and he didn't. He basically, I pity you, and he just walks off. That's it, because Vader's quite a. Well, I feel for Vader. I don't agree with what he's done, but he is a tragic. He's just been used by everybody.
Yeah, basically.
And he's that delusional. Thinks he's going to become next great thing, but he hasn't got the capability to hold an empire together. There'd be revolution overnight with somebody like him.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Palpatine can do it because he knows the game. He knows how to manipulate people and the politicals thing and the thought. I get why like Vader's like the muscle man. He's just an enforcer. That's all he is.
I suppose I have to ask you one question. Rather than having all these separate Star Wars series, would you have preferred it if they'd have just had one epic, almost like a movie series, without all these cartoons, without all these sub-series and all these spin-offs and stuff like that? One proper Star Wars TV series where they could have thrown all the money into it. It could have been epic. It could have been like something huge, rather than these good series which have got disappointing elements.
And build it all up to go somewhere for final
just a standalone series, rather than all these minor, lower, cheaper series. What do you think?
I know where you're coming from with that.
What would you think about
the first season is about the characters, and then in the second season they sort of start coming together.
And do you think it would have been more epic if they'd gone that way rather than
I think it could work, but I think they've lost that opportunity now.
Yeah. I
think they are trying to build something. I know you can tell they are trying to build. It started in Mando season 2 when she said she was looking for Thrawn. That was your big Easter egg. So whatever this is, they've got it planned out. Maybe Mandalorian were meant to be like this. I think the Ahsoka series is going to be good. I've got a good feeling about this.
I do too. It looks like the best one. I think it's going to be actually interesting.
You'll probably get this series at Mando will probably pay off. Like you said, there was one moment in this entire series, it was the Shadow Council thing. The minute I saw that
was the second to last episode. Yeah, that was penultimate episode. That was pretty good.
That was the best episode.
Was it the last episode that we saw them? Was it the penultimate?
I think it was the one before.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was. I think. Yeah.
But I did feel a bit cheated with Moff Gideon. And what is it with villains wanting to clone themselves all the time? It's like, do you know what I mean? It's like they're obsessed.
It's a bit of a tired format, isn't it? It's
a bit vain, isn't it? I'm just going to clone an entire army based on me.
Yeah, but I wonder if some of this is going to be used for Snoke in the sequels. I wonder if it's something to do with that.
That's where I think all that's going on as well.
That's what I think. I think it is going to lead to the sequels, which is
because Palpatine's hand is in the background in all this,
Well, yeah, because we know that he comes back as a clone, so we know that
he was manipulating the situation.
And Snoke, from the beginning, exactly.
Yeah, even though he were in a weakened state, he was still manipulating. He created the First Order. All that was for him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd like to know more about Palpatine on Exegol. That'd be interesting. Like we start getting hints, and
I hope we
there's
go
something
there.
bigger in the background. Yeah.
Yeah, but we thought we were going to get something at the end of this season, which would be like, oh my gosh, this is where it's going to go.
I just
and
thought
it
we'd get a doorway into the next chapter or something. That's all.
It didn't. It was almost like the end of. It felt like the end of the series. It could be the end. I mean, like it's a lot of the storylines are tied up.
I think she's going to get a series.
I hope so.
I think she was the best thing in this series.
But she's been great. I mean, she appeared in. She wasn't in season 1. She was in season 2, and she was great in that. And she's been even better in season 3. She was really good.
Fantastic in this.
Yeah, and she loves it. She loves the series. She loves
That's
doing
what I mean. But she's got awesome gravitas.
I like her. She's great. She was great at
when she's in things, she's got personality.
Yeah, Battlestar Galactica, Starbuck. Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with her. This is how she stood out every time. Everything I've seen her in, she's really good. She's just got something about the way she does it. She's really has this strength behind her, and I
think it might be disconnect as well because it was like what it first or second scene when he took his helmet off. And we got to see his face.
We saw actually his face at the end of season 1 when the IG-11 was going to, because he was really badly hurt, and he took his helmet off, and then we saw him take his helmet off twice
in the Empire base.
Yeah, with the Bill Burr character, and then we also saw at the end where he says goodbye to Grogu in the end season finale. This season we didn't see anything at all.
Maybe that is the disconnect though, because like. A friend of mine said to me, he said this thing with helmets now, it's getting a bit like, they never take the bloody helmets off. And
there's only one small faction that do that. Most of them do. It's only the Last Watch, what it's called. Yeah, it's only the. I think that what we're perceiving is basically it wasn't a ground-breaking thing which happened, and also Pedro Pascal, because he's busy doing other stuff, he phoned in the audio, and I think that. I don't know why, but you could tell he was missing from this season. You could tell it's just a stunt double, and I think that might have been a factor as well. I don't know. If we'd have seen him in some,
you're probably right. Actually.
I think that might have actually made it a lot more kind of feeling like this is really part of it, rather than getting a paycheck just to do a bit of audio. They
said most of his work this season were voiceovers
because he was doing The Last of Us, which he was very good in, and I still recommend you check that out.
I've got over the cuteness of Grogu now. I'm not sort of.
Oh, I'm bored of that now. He's all right.
I noticed that when he was in Robot moving about with the handles going yes, and no.
Yeah.
I was getting rather bored of that. Now.
Yeah,
that's the cute factor now. Let's just.
Well, I think they should have some sort of growth spurt or something where he becomes a teenager and starts talking or something. I think it's time for him to stop being a baby and start to be a little bit more of a adolescent kind of thing.
He's nearly 50 years old.
Yeah, I know, I know that, but maybe in science fiction he might suddenly have a growth spurt or something. It might be like a Yoda puberty or something.
Wouldn't it be funny if he drop kicked him?
I never thought that in that perspective, but now I have. Now that's been ingrained into my soul. So anyway, look, thank you for that, Marty. I think that's pretty much all we're going to say about it. I'm glad to see it. Wish it every success if it comes back in season 4.
I went out over the weekend. I got in. I think it was Sunday night. We're going through YouTube. I got in about 8:30 or something, and I saw Trekkie were on live. Right, I know this.
God. Yeah.
And I didn't, because I've not watched him in quite a while. So I put him off. He was there. And he's got a fucking price list.
A price list?
He's got a price list, yeah.
Of what?
I'm not making it up. You want to check this out? Right. I was going to send you a message out because it was bank holiday.
A price list of what they can offer?
He's got a price, right? No, he's got a price. When he was doing his live stream, right? $5 to drink a
the shots. Yeah.
He's got $10 for half a bottle of vodka or whatever. And then there were $20 and then get this, for $50 he'll put a Star Trek uniform on. I'm not making this shit up, man. What's
all right, sorry, we're just going to interrupt this bit because we doing a rather bad edit, but we started going into some sort of rambling rants and all sorts of conversations, and we decided that we probably shouldn't share that. So we are now going to finish the Sci-Fi podcast. I'm going to leave you actually with a funny clip. It is we'll post a link to the people that actually did this. but I've got to find out. Yes, it's called Carry On Up the Death Star, and it's basically somebody's mixed in some Carry On, Kenneth Williams, Charles Hawtrey, doing like Darth Vader and all these sorts. It's quite funny. Obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to it on the audio, we'll fade out because it won't be so funny on audio. So sorry about that. Next week we're going to talk about Tron, which should be a good film. Which we've not done that one, and that's well worth a review.
I thought we'd done Tron.
No,
right.
Because my old buddy Malcolm Patterson, he said that it's good to review Disney sci-fi, and the only Disney sci-fi I could think of, which you've already reviewed, is The Black Hole. And Tron is another Disney movie, so I thought I'd do that.
At the same time, yeah.
So that's why I thought we'd do it, because it's well worth. It's got some good concepts, and I think.
Well, there's the cat from outer space.
The Cat from Outer Space.
Have
is
you
this
not
one of
seen
your?
the cat?
No. Is this one of your films again?
You must have seen that.
But never heard of it.
Come on.
The Cat from Outer Space.
Okay, it's a big Disney movie.
Never heard of it. The Cat from Outer Space.
I bet you don't fucking watch it.
Well, no, I will, but you have to give me a couple of weeks on that.
No, this cat lands. It comes from outer space, and the
hell.
American military steal its spaceship.
Yeah.
And it's got superpowers. It can talk. I'm not making it up. The cat from outer space. And
when was it made? Was it an 80s movie?
No, I think it was like late 70s. And you must have seen it.
Never heard of it.
Well, you remember when Disney made them awful movies? You know, it was one of them. And the other one. I saw Double Bill. The Cat from Outer Space and the King. What is it? American Astronaut meets King Arthur. And this like sugar.
I'll watch one, but I'm not watching both. So which one?
It's a Disney movie. I'm
not a big fan of Disney, really. I mean,
it's not bad. Cat from Outer Space. It's got superpowers.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
It can float people up in air, and it falls in love with the other cats.
Is it on YouTube?
No, I don't think so.
The Cat from Outer Space.
Yeah,
but if you remind me,
it would a bit of a big.
If you remind me, but also we want to do Spaceballs as well coming up as well. I want to do Spaceballs as well.
Well, all right. I think we should go for Cat from Outer Space.
Yeah, all right. Give me a couple of weeks though.
We'll put it
on the shopping list.
It's terrible.
We'll put it on the list.
Roddy McDowell's in it as the villain.
I like Roddy McDowell.
Yeah, well there you go.
Is it a cartoon or is it live action?
I think Orson Welles is in it as well.
But is it a cartoon or is it live action?
No, it's a live action movie.
I've heard of this.
The cat flies around in a spaceship with a big cat's head.
And you really want me to watch this, right? I'm really going to do this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you'd seen it.
Never heard of it. No, never heard of that one.
All right.
No. Thank you, Martin. Right, we'll leave you with this carry-on thing. Thank you for some interesting thing I'm going to...
I apologise.
No, don't apologise. I just don't know how some of these films you hear about. The Cat from Outer Space.
For £5, if you've done it, £5, we'll watch Cat from Outer Space.
I will even have a drink when we watch it as well.
Yeah.
All right, Martin, thank you very much. Yeah. We will catch you next week on the Solo One Sci-Fi podcast. Live long and prosper. Thank you.
Live long and prosper.
I knew I shouldn't have eaten those radishes. Oh, hello. Do you know, I haven't done this since I was in the army.
Yes.
Disgusting.
It's no good, sir. I can't get any sense out of her.
Leave it to me. I know how to handle this baggage. Now, look here. We know very well you're a member of Big Dick's gang.
Of course, Stone to Close. What's he talking about? You're a bloody dead loss.
How dare you! We have ways of making you talk.
You couldn't help a dog find a bloody lamppost. That's it!
Yeah, I'll get him in a second. I am the greatest. Oh, I thought I was back in the game then.
Had a good day?
Oh, not bad. Got drunk at lunchtime, then went to a strip club, and finished up in bed with a popsy.
Oh, look. There was a hole in his tent flap.
Yes, the goat ate its way in last year.
Oh, yes, I remember. He was after your bedding.
Yes, that's right. He even left a deposit on it.
Oh, poor Peter. We had a good laugh about that, though, didn't we?
Yes, you did, didn't you?
Oh, Peter, I've been thinking we ought to try Devon again this year. We had such a marvellous time there last time.
I was wondering if possibly, just once, we might go abroad somewhere.
Oh, don't be silly, Peter. You mark my words, you'll die under canvas.
That's what I'm afraid of.
We mustn't forget to take a good supply of toilet paper this time. You know what happened last year?
Yes, we had nothing to write to your mother on.
Excuse me, sir, but my friend and I, we're doing spot diagnosis, and I was wondering if you could help me. Now, I'd say you've got hemorrhoids, and he thinks it's a slip disc. Now, could you tell us?
Let me see now. You thought it was a slip disc. I'm afraid you were wrong. And you thought it was hemorrhoids.
That's right.
I'm afraid you were wrong.
Well, what then?
As a matter of fact, I thought I was going to break wind. I'm afraid I was wrong.
What about that, then?
What?
Good evening.
Oh, hi. Oh, what a lovely looking pair.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Buzz! What's that?
It's a genuine Roman helmet.
Oh, is it? Looks more like an old tin hat with the rim knocked off.
Yeah, well, you're not an archaeologist, are you?
Yes, well, now look, I'm getting reports that the showers aren't working properly.
Don't ask me, I'll never use them.
Well, that's obvious.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Kilmore.
And about time, too, I may say. If this is the National Health Service, take me back to the leeches.
Well, I'm sorry if I've kept you waiting, Mr. Francis Bigger. Wait a minute, that rings a bell. You must be that chap who goes round saying that doctors and medicine are unnecessary.
Well, I didn't exactly say that. You see, I deal with the mind.
Of course, yes.
You see, if one thinks that nothing will happen to one, nothing will.
What went wrong?
Well, I must have stopped thinking for the moment.
Think you'll be able to sleep all right?
Oh, yes, of course. You've been a real comfort.
Well, I'll give you a local jab to kill the pain if you'll just turn over again,
Turn
please.
over, turn here, turn there. I wish I'd never come here in the first place. Oh, get out of it.
I'll have your bleeding heads for this.
Why, sire, what is wrong? Is not this mating successful?
Successful? As far as the Queen is concerned, I've had it.
Oh, well, it's all right then.
Will you shut up and listen? She has got to go.
But this need not be a serious problem, sire.
You know the Queen, sire, never on time for anything. Well, this is the last time she'll keep me waiting, I promise you. Yes, indeed, sire. Unless she's late for her own funeral.
Oh, no!
Crying tonight!